Hey everyone, hello beautiful people. Abel here once again from the quarantine. I hope everybody's enjoying their apocalypse. And today I will talk about everybody's favorite topic, which is rapid fat loss, how to get lean fast. That will be the topic, and more specifically, what's the most pleasant rapid fat loss protocol that I'm aware of. So everybody knows that is relatively well versed in fitness is that a protein sparing modified fast is the fastest way to lose fat and not muscle. So I would say that that is the best option if time is really of the essence. So if you have a class reunion or a wedding or a pool party that you have the deadline for or the date for, and you really want to get lean as fast as possible, then obviously that is the best option. Now, of course, we always feel like time is of the essence and we're always racing against time, but in reality, we are really not. It's just the case that we want to feel like we are progressing towards our fat loss goal in a meaningful place. And also, fat loss is not the most fun thing in the world, so we just want to get it done as fast as possible. But in reality, we really don't have deadlines for these things. So I would say that for most people, our protein sparing modified fast is not the best option because sure, you will lose fat fast, but it also sucks. It's a really harsh diet, and you will deal with a lot of hunger if you're gonna do that. And the thing is, you may lose fat really fast, but if you're struggling each and every day and you have to battle with a ton of hunger, then you're really not winning with the whole thing because the perception of time is still gonna be greater probably compared to losing fat slower, but not struggling with it as much. So if you want to lose, 16, 20 pounds, you might be able to do that in 4 weeks if you're really pushing it. But if each and every day during those 4 weeks, you will be counting the minutes until the day is over and finally you can get to the next day and maybe eventually to the next week, it's going to seem like eternity. So, you have to keep in mind the perception of time as well, not just the actual time that it takes. Whereas you might be able to lose that fat in 8 weeks. That's slower, of course, but you can take a more lifestyle-oriented approach, and at the end of 8 weeks, you can look up and say, hey, I lost all the fat, and it really wasn't that hard. So keep that in mind as well. So what is the most pleasant or effortless way of doing all of this? Let's talk about that. And basically, it would be a modified protein-sparing modified fast, in my opinion, and that would be a low carb, so only green veggies, non-starchy, low-calorie veggies like salads and some cucumber and some tomatoes, which I know are technically fruits, but everybody handles them or considers them veggies, so we will stick with that as well. So those sorts of carb sources, and then moderately kind of semi-fatty meats, seafood, maybe some dairy, like some moderately fatty cottage cheese, eggs, occasionally a little bit of bacon and things like that. And that is pretty much it. So essentially, we are talking about a ketogenic diet, except you don't actually try to be in ketosis, or you may be in ketosis, but you're not stressing over that, because really that's just based on an arbitrary blood marker that is really of no relevance for most people. And if you're really hung up on being in actual ketosis, then that might lead to some funky things like loading up on a lot of fats just so that you're in ketosis, and that will just lead you to needlessly increase your calorie intake. So we're talking about a moderately fatty, kind of low carb, high protein diet. And I would also say that you want to be liberal with the green veggies that you're eating. So I would not stress over hitting 30 grams of carbs or 50 or 65. Your carb intake is going to be very low if you're only limiting yourself to green veggies and things like that. So what is the benefit of this diet? Well, the thing is that satiety will be very well managed. If you're eating a fat and protein-based diet, then your hunger signaling will be different. Because you're controlling the fluctuations in your blood glucose very closely, you're not going to have these harsh hunger spikes between meals. When you get hungry between 2 meals, you will feel like you're just kind of running lower and lower on energy. But by the time your next meal comes around, it will be like, I could really eat now, but it won't be like I have to eat now or else I'm gonna pass out. So that's one benefit of this. The other benefit comes from the blandness of the diet. So if you're eating red meats that are moderately fatty or seafood, that is tasty and palatable, but the monotony of the taste that you're experiencing are really going to limit your desire to eat. So food will kind of lose its entertainment value. And that entertainment value is always there. Even if you're eating very healthfully and you're eating lots of fruits and veggies, there's always that extra bit of taste stimulus that kind of makes you want to keep eating even though you're kind of comfortably full already. If you're only eating meat and veggies, that is really not there anymore. And it is actually documented in studies as well. So there is like one study I can think of now where they gave people essentially some tasteless gel that they could consume ad libitum, and it was calorie containing, obviously. And what they found is some people, especially those that were seriously overweight or obese, they just voluntarily reduced their calorie intake by a crazy extent. So some people took in as little amount of calories as a couple of hundred a day. And that was self-imposed, so they were not instructed to limit their calories or anything like that. It was just that because it had no taste, they really took in the amount of energy that they really needed. And since some people were seriously obese or overweight, for some people that amount of calories was just a couple of hundred calories a day. So that is the benefit of a very bland but satisfying diet, such as this modified ketogenic, protein-sparing modified fast type diet. So that would, in my opinion, be the most effective way to kind of ad libitum without a perception of calorie restriction or crash dieting to really do that kind of rapid fat loss protocol. Now, obviously, this is not going to be a very enjoyable diet for the long term. You will not want to keep that up as a lifestyle, but to lose fat over the course of 1 or 2 months, this is pretty damn effective. Now, you're not going to lose radical amounts of weight doing this. So you're not going to lose like half a pound a day. So you're not going to be in a 2,000 calorie deficit most likely, but you will easily be in a 1,000 calorie deficit and maybe even slightly higher. So to lose predictably like 2 pounds a week, this diet is perfect. Now, if you don't want to do this because you're very much against low carb diets or you're too scared that your gym performance is going to go down, then I would say a second best option would be probably the opposite, which would be a super low fat, high fiber, moderate protein diet. So it would be lean protein sources, fruits, veggies, and minimizing fat intake as much as possible. Basically, that would accomplish a inevitable, pretty severe calorie restriction if you're eating mindfully and you're eating 3 or 4 meals a day. But because you're taking out the most energy dense component of your diet, which are fats, that calorie restriction will be there even if you're not counting calories. Or a second option could be a kind of in-between approach of the two, where you're only limiting yourself to one flavor profile per meal. So you would either eat some semi-fatty meat or something like that with veggies in one meal, and in another meal you would eat something like fruits and some low-fat dairy or something like that, and you would kind of divide up your meals like this. But you would only eat one taste profile per meal. And if you're paying attention to limiting yourself to lower calorie fruits in each meal, then probably you will also accomplish 1,000 calorie deficit or so per day. So that would kind of be my take on a ad libitum, relatively pleasant, not crash dieting feely type rapid fat loss protocol. Of course, if you're counting your calories, then you don't have to play around with things like this. But if you don't want to have that lingering thought in the back of your head all the time that, wow, I'm in this huge calorie deficit, I'm so deprived, I'm so restricted, then this is a pretty viable way of doing it. So that would be my short message today. Otherwise, I hope everybody is enjoying their quarantine, lockdown, end of the world, whatever, delayed 2012 apocalypse. And let me know what you thought in the comment section. Please like the video and subscribe and share, because I'm almost at 10,000 freaking subscribers. But I hope everyone's having a good day, and we will see each other in the next video.